All right, now, second half of the notes. We've got 30, 60, 90 triangles. I have 3 different parts of this triangle, so I'm going to have 3 different colors, okay? First, I have the short leg. I'm going to call that X. Then I have the long leg, and that is X square root 3. Then I have the hypotenuse, 2X. I will also point out I do have 2 formulas here that we might need. Most of the time, we will just use this information, okay? And then this is a good little side note. The shorter leg is always opposite the 30-degree angle, and the longer leg is always opposite the 60-degree angle, okay? So down here, we are given the short leg. Short leg is our X, okay? Our hypotenuse is 2X. And our long leg is X radical 3. Okay, so as right now, I'm ignoring these X and Y's. I'm just worried about matching it to this triangle up here, okay? If I know that this little short side is 5, I can plug that 5 into that spot right there. So that would be 5 radical 3. And according to this problem, X is my long leg. So I would have 5 radical 3. Then my hypotenuse would be 2 times the X, which is 5. So 2 times 5 would give me 10. Okay, next one. Again, I have the short leg. So this long leg represents X radical 3. So if this is X, 14 radical 3. I only need to put it in the Y spot because the long leg is labeled Y. Then the hypotenuse, our formula is 2X. Again, X is 14. So 2 times 14 is 28. All right, C. We have 32 for our hypotenuse. And we know that our hypotenuse equals 2X. So to get X here, we would just divide by 2. And X would be 16. If we know that X is 16, we now know that the short side is 16. And that the long leg would be 16 radical 3. Okay, so I really should have put this in red. Okay. All right, down here, we have the hypotenuse is 46. And we know the hypotenuse equals 2X. So again, I divide by 2, I get X is 23. If I know that the X value is 23 and the short side represents X, then this short side is 23. Okay. Again, the Y is going to confuse you. So you're having to think of, oh, the Y is the short side. The short side represents the X value. Okay, and that's what I care about, the X value. So that really should have been in red. Then the long side is our X radical 3. Well, if I found that X is 23, then that is 23 radical 3. Okay, E. We know that the long side represents X radical 3. So this is going to take a little work to find. We have X radical 3 equals 20. If I want X by itself, I need to divide by radical 3. Okay, now, I also can't have the radical there, so I need to rationalize the denominator and multiply by radical 3. So this would give me 20 radical 3. And that would be the square root of 9. So this would be 20 radical 3. The square root of 9 is 3. What does this represent? This represents our x value. Okay, our x value is this side right here. So this is this. And this x value represents the short side. So this is the short side. We're going to put this in for the short side. Okay. Now, x, our hypotenuse over here. According to up here, our hypotenuse is 2x. If we know that this is x, we're going to plug this whole thing in right here. Okay? And what would that look like? That would look like this. So 2 times our x over here. Okay, so when you multiply fractions, you can think of this over 1, and you multiply across. So 20 times 2 would be 40 radical 3, and 1 times 3 is 3. These cannot eliminate. They cannot cancel. This isn't a radical. This is not. 40 and 3 cannot reduce because they are not divisible by anything but 1. So this means that my hypotenuse, which they labeled x, is 40 radical 3 over 3. Okay, f. F's a little bit nicer. So we know that our long leg is 9 radical 3. And according to up here, the long leg is x radical 3. Now, if I look at this, I can see that x is 9. Okay? So that means that my short side represents this number, which is 9. And my hypotenuse is 2 times x. So if I plug 9 in, I've got 18. So now I can go fill in my answer choices. X being 9 and the y value being 18. I would re-watch the video or stop and replay parts that you need to make sure you understand this content. And then work on the homework afterwards. We do have one more section that we're going to cover of the notes, and I'll do a third video for that.